Chapter 24. Ash. The most remorse I felt for my acts of cruelty, although given the horror of my existence, I did not find the acts that cruel initially, was when I discovered what had happened to Ezra's wife, whose poor soul I inevitably weighed all of my crimes' yoke upon. I had wondered if Ezra would question whether it was I, this grotesque spawn, who was capable of such an act. I wondered if he would ever confess to what he had done so many years ago. Perhaps I gave him too much credit, and his denial and repression of who he had been in his young life cut so deep that he truly had erased all knowledge and existence of me from his mind. I did not dare incite the mob by getting close enough to the courthouse to find out. However, I did find abandoned newspapers each night that reported on the trial's events, as it was such a ghastly story that excited the curiosity of everyone in the town. I saw that you were there, and I wondered, too, if my Creator had discovered that it surely must have been me. Did you feel any sort of sympathy for the monster you had created with your abandonment and refusal of me as your child? I knew it was foolish to assume those responsible for my life would think such things, especially given how many years had gone by. But children always wonder about the beings who forsake them. Regardless, when I learned Caroline did not even offer an alibi or insist that the prosecution, or the defense for that matter, scour the ends of the town to find out what villain was truly to blame for the violent loss of her son, I knew she would reach a tragic end. But I never imagined her end would be by her own hand. At worst, I thought she would get life in prison. But good behavior would perhaps cause her to have a different narrative, one in which she would be freed on parole, especially due to the fact that she had an immaculate record up until this unthinkable crime. After all, she was not my true agent, my true target. I only wanted Ezra to suffer. I should have thought more about what Pine would have wanted for me. I should have realized that vengeance would never give me the satisfaction I craved, that nothing could, barring acknowledgement and acceptance from those who made me. In my mind, that was an impossibility that I could search my whole life in pursuit of, only to end up embittered and even more alone. I needed to think of a new way to be at peace with this hideous existence, this pitiful thing called a life, if life it could be called. What I truly craved was to live out the rest of my days with another soul whose companionship I could have as my own, another soul who would look upon me with tenderness and love. But how could I find another who could see past my ugly physiognomy and accept me as I am? Certainly, I could think of no other creature, aside from Pine, who was long gone, that would have the kindness of spirit to understand of what exactly I was made. It was too risky to seek out another like Pine, who had been fortunate enough to come upon me when I was but a vulnerable and helpless infant, and not the large and unwieldy creature I had become. Even Andre the giant had fame on his side, an opening for the world to seek to understand him. That is when I realized you were the key, my only chance at attaining true happiness. If I were to truly find another who would live out the rest of their days with me, there was only one way. I would need a companion made of the same attributes I possess, who could understand my condition as they, too, would suffer from the same circumstance. No one else will have me, and mankind is too obsessed with beauty and wholeness to see through my countenance for what is behind it. I will not leave your side until you create for me a companion, or, better yet, a child, one just as I am, who will not refuse me their companionship and kindness, and will accept my tenderness and love. Given all you have done to give me this miserable life, this is the one request I am after. I will not take my leave of you until it is granted.